go to work. It's good to have you guys. Good morning. Special edition 219. This is the interview, the 219th interview. We got an encore going for you. Miss Jules Molina, who has last time she was in my house was number 64. You start doing the math on that. Her and I were chatting. We think it was on the front end of 2017. So there's been just a lot going on with her since then. I thought we'd invite her in to catch us up on her life and share a little bit of a secret sauce. I refer to Jules. She's got, as a service provider, she's blowing it up all the time. Then now she's a shareholder on the team at Soto's Signature Salon and Spa. I say as an S. Sometimes you'll say, sounds like a Z, Cole. Make sure it's an S. Soto's Signature Salon Spa. Now we know. She's also really now the team lead for the Summit Salon front desk training division, and she's got a team under her, and I've watched her over the years evolve that, and then and when she goes in and does this, and now because this extraordinary digital tool is kind of making its way into the salon protocol, she's now integrates that, and I would refer to her as a Tippy black belt. So I've got her here today to talk about all that stuff. If you haven't met her before, make sure you watch that interview. Just get on the Summit YouTube channel, watch that. You can see she's been six-figured since an income in W-2 since 2018. I think she's trending to do the equal to and greater than 115 this year. And oh, by the way, she went from 32 hours a week when she was knocking this out of the park to 24 hours a week. So I think when she was on, I think she was 27, either 26, 27. Oh, no, she was 28. And now she's 31, so that you do the math on that. Yeah, we're just almost 4 years. Average service ticket then was $100. Now it's $133, so she lifted that up 33%. Last time she was on the show, her haircuts were $30. Now they're at $60. She was level 4A then, but she continues to take that up. She's now really referral rainmaker in the salon. So any referrals, a lot of her referrals that come in are being passed on to her associates and company. I love that. Rebooking 80% of her guests, and she's still very much in the retail game. So now we're going to be talking about a lot this morning, but you have got to follow her on her Instagram page. We follow each other on Instagram, and I just absolutely love what she's doing on her highlight library. They almost look like movie trailers to things, the work that she's doing behind the chair and with front desk and SSPC. I just love it. She's doing some extraordinary things on her grids as well. So that's at Molina.Jules. I'll post that link so that you can hang out with her. So I'm going to go back in our guest room, going to bring her out. I want her to catch us up to what she's doing, and then I want her to catch us up on some secret sauce, because I think what she's into is absolutely stunning. So cross your fingers that the Wi-Fi gods are going to behave themselves today. There's Jules. I'm going to unmute her, and you're going to make her feel welcome, you guys. Good morning, Jules.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, very good. I thank you very much for taking time out of your busy life to engage in a conversation with me this morning.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. I'm excited.
Did you hear me catching the world up to you and me, and especially you, since you were on the show last?
It's crazy.
I know. I mean, you and I go back quite a few years, and when I really knew you when you were a student in back then, it was we won't say what it was then. Now it's Summit Salon Academy, but I've watched you grow through the years. It's been extraordinary.
I know it's been pretty cool to see you from my first day of beauty school to now being partners together.
Yes, I knew you before you were rich and terribly happy. So catch us up. What's been, like, in a nutshell, what your journey has been unstoppable since I saw you last. Of course, you and I see each other at retreats and we follow each other. But what, in a nutshell, how is your life different now than it was when you were on the show last?
A lot has changed, right? So, leading a team of amazing, exceptional humans at Summit Salon Business Center, the front desk division, still doing that, growing the team, behind the chair, still working with associates, having a team here, which has been amazing. And, enjoying to stop and smell the roses a little bit has been probably one of the most exciting things. I would say, in addition to going through new consulting training and, just learning how to be a better version of me.
Yeah. Well, when you were on, I'm trying to recall, I don't recall you being on the front desk. If you were on the front desk team, then I don't even know that we had a front desk program when you were on, and that program's been developed, and you've pivoted in your consulting to that, and now you're leading. How many people are on that team now?
There's 6 of us.
And that has become another one of those pillars at Summit. So that's been really, really cool. And then you've got your hat as a service provider. I continue to watch you evolve in your work behind the chair, and seeing you a lot show up working with front desk teams. So you've been on a real roll, my friend.
Yeah, it's been fun to be a part of the whole process, honestly.
Well, I wanted you to come on to just kind of what are you doing in terms of secret sauce? Like what tools are you using now, as whether it's a service provider, front desk, coach consulting, that you can give us so that we can take our game to the next level?
Well, I think there's been, with some amazing things that have happened with COVID, it's forced a lot of us to have to pivot and try things a little differently than what we've ever done before. So that has been quite exciting. It also has forced us to have to recalibrate what we've always done. So we brought on some, mobile processes. We have brought on Tippy, which has been amazing for us, doing virtual interviews, virtual orientations. So
yes.
It's forced us to have to think big.
Right. I love how you put that. COVID has forced us all to, whether it's rethink, reimagine, reinvent, and those of us that have accepted that, we're not complaining, we're not whining, we're saying, look, this is not bad, nor is it good. It kind of is what it is. What do we need to do to survive and grow in it? And because you're an innovator, you're at the front end of that curve. Now, you said a couple of things that I wanted to key in on. You said virtual consultations. I thought I were just, and then something about virtual orientations. Talk a little bit about consultation and orientation.
Yeah, so we are, just because the world has paused doesn't mean that as a business owner you want to pause with that, right? So you have to keep looking for your next hire as an associate, right? And so I've gone in and done a lot of recruitment with my team through Instagram and done orientation. So we couldn't necessarily be face to face, but it allowed us to do orientation, welcoming them to the team on a virtual platform.
Nice. And what platforms are you using when you're doing the virtual work for orientation? Is that done on Instagram? Is it FaceTime? Is it Zoom? Or is it all of the above?
So interviews that I've done are done through FaceTime and or Facebook Messenger, but I prefer to work with Zoom. So orientation, when I'm going through employee handbooks and manuals and all of those goodies, is done through Zoom. And then interviewing them, the first quote unquote date, is also done on a virtual platform, either FaceTime and or Zoom.
I love it. So the orientation, what we used to be called the interview, or we're vetting out, people that are interested to see, what are the probabilities. Zoom, first of all, virtual and digital has become part of the new normal, and that you're using, your favorite platform is Zoom, but now that's part of the protocol.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, the other thing you said was virtual consultation, and there isn't an interview that I'm doing now where that's not a very big piece of the new normal. How is virtual consultations working in your life as a service provider?
Yeah, so right away, coming right back from COVID, there was a lot of virtual consultations, or as I like to call them, virtual coaching calls, right? Where tell me what's currently on your hair, what's working, what's not working. Here's the home care recommendations, so that when they come in, it was pretty flawless for them.
And that's now almost become a prerequisite that if this is your first time visit, there is now some sort of a pre-visit consultation, and we're calling that digital or virtual.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's touching base with them in a virtual way, whether it's DMing them to find out more, whether it's giving them even a call, or whether it's a FaceTime or Zoom, whatever it might look like.
Yeah, and as I'm asking more and more service providers, the number one answer I'm getting, which is really surprising to me, is direct message, whether it's on Instagram or Messenger on Facebook, and it's texting. It's not necessarily that we're FaceTiming, but there's content being exchanged. A first-time client will send in a selfie, maybe some inspiration. You get it. You're making some comments on the content, texting it back. Where I just assumed that was like a virtual means we're FaceTiming, and what I'm getting from people is, well, yeah, but most of the time it's direct message.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think for a lot of people that are kind of early majority, late majority service providers, that makes it safer for them. It's a little bit less unnerving that, oh, I can do that. I'm texting, whether I do it on my mobile or if I'm doing it on a platform. I get it. That's what virtual consultation is. So it's all of a sudden now it's making it better, and we're finding that when people do that, when first-time clients do that, no shows go way down. Are you finding that out to be the case?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think any type of connection is a good connection, right? Whether it's done on a digital platform, virtual platform, in essence, it's connecting.
I love it. Well, I want to pivot to something else that I'm seeing a big momentum on this digital tool that's changing, is a game changer at point of sale. And, as you would call it, we have a new friend. Welcome to Tippy. I mean, that's kind of part of your people's vocabs. Catch us up to how that is, what your experience is of that as a service provider, a front desk trainer, a salon owner, because we're getting more and more people that are asking about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me just be super honest and transparent is, we've known about Tippy for a while, right? We've known about it, but there was still some apprehension around it. Like, what did it look like? How would it sound? And then all the little voices. Would our guests really like this? Or what if our service providers hate it? All of those things were real and really happened. Right. And so then COVID happened. We started thinking about other things that we could do. How can we enhance the guest experience? And Tippy fell right into place with us. And so Tippy is our new friend. And it's beautiful. And it's been a really great transition. I like to think about it as it's elevating the guest experience, because it really puts the guest experience as far as gratuities in the consumer's hands, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So how and it's almost like there's this definable moment at the front desk that before Tippy there was always this kind of weird interchange between somebody at the desk and the guest, and as I'm learning, that kind of went away now. What's that? First of all, what was that weird experience? So everybody knows what we're talking about, and what's the new replacement for that, where it's classy and it's less sticky?
Yeah, so it's always been a little weird and unusual to talk about money, right? So would you like to add a gratuity today? And you would say it like that when you're working the front desk, and you never really knew how to say it in a way where it felt like your brand.
Yes.
So this has helped us because now we have beautiful verbiage to introduce the process. And so the verbiage is pretty simple. This is my new friend. Its name is Tippy. And today your service is XYZ with your products it comes to XYZ. Let me introduce you to Tippy. There are a few suggested options that you can choose from, a custom gratuity amount.
And so it's first of all, a classier piece of script or verbiage. And how is the guest receiving that? Because that's a new experience, as you call it. You're leveling up that experience, and it replaces an experience, frankly, that had been around forever. Would you like to leave a tip today? I mean, I go way back, and I remember that question coming up, 30, 40 years ago. So that's been with us. How has that experience changed it for the guest? That you've noticed?
Yeah, so I think what's been great is for the guest specifically, it allows them to choose in a more personal way. So if you've never really seen Tippy before, it's an iPad in this beautiful little container. It's gorgeous. And they flip it around. So it's on a swivel. So he flips it around and it allows them to choose. And it's got 3 options, either a price point and or a percentage. And so it allows them to have that experience one-on-one on what they feel versus saying it out loud.
I love it. And so you're saying that in and of itself has taken the guest experience up. And when the guest is happy, it makes us a little bit, first of all, it makes us happy, but also it allows us to be comfortable. That weird dynamic now, it went away. Now, what about you as a service provider? You and I were chatting about this, and you dropped something on me. Frankly, it blew the sides off of my brain box about how is it implicating you as a service provider, both in your professional and your personal life?
So this was a huge game changer for me, because when I started thinking about Tippy, and if you've never seen the dashboard, it allows you to really see what's coming in as far as gratuities. And so I knew that there's 2 things that are always going to happen, right? Like I have to retire at some point, and that's a key thing. And so I wanted to plan for my future, and I wanted to be in charge of my future and what that looked like. So as I was getting the gratuities coming in, it allowed me to really take the money that I'm getting for gratuities in my Tippy and put that into my Roth IRA.
Oh wow! So you've earmarked revenue coming into you from Tippy, and you've earmarked that to go into a Roth IRA account.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so how long? First of all, how long's that been in play for you?
So okay, so here's the crazy part is we have been doing Tippy, launching Tippy completely. I think it's as of June 25th. I think it was
of this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so far with my Tippy amount, I'm really excited to share it because I want everyone to do this because it's huge, is I have deposited over $2,000 into my Roth IRA.
Whoa, 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 whoa. So I'm looking at my calendar watch, and I've got August 19th. You guys launched this thing in June. I'm doing the math in my head. So you're 6 weeks into this. Sounds like, I think. Yes.
Wow, it feels longer.
Yeah. Well, no, June, July, we're in August. So you're 2.5 months in, and in 2.5 months, you've got $2,000 in fuel now into your Roth IRA.
Yep.
Wow, that's big, Jules. That's very big. Now, did you have any idea that it would go that quickly? Like when you looked, like how mind-blowing was that?
Okay, that was trickery at its finest.
You're right, but like as I'm getting goosebumps now as I'm looking at you and listening to you. So it really, first of all, helps us to gain a keen appreciation of how big that part of our life is, and as you call it, the dashboard wakes that awareness up. So you pivot and you go, I think I'm going to start redirecting some of that income over here on something long term. And inside of it looks like about a 9 week window. It's $2,000 more than it was this time 9 weeks ago.
Yeah, and I always hear some of my favorite mentors say things like, what you can see, you can control. What you can't see will control you. Peter Mahoney says that. And it's like, as a service provider, I have to take control of what I want my retirement to look like. Like no one's going to do that for me. And here's a platform. And it's always been looked at as like fun money, like gratuities have always been looked at that way in our industry. So why not put it to work for me? And so I just made a conscious effort to like, this is what it's designated for.
Right. And so it now is kind of like taking your game up from that standpoint. And this is 8 weeks in. So who knows what it's going to look like? What I'm curious about is you see this dashboard, so you get instantaneous data. Did you set that up in the account, your IRA, or is that something separate where you do a transfer of money from the Tippy account into wherever it goes in your IRA?
Yeah, so I set it up into not my direct IRA. Like I set it up into my account and then I just transfer.
Got it. And you can do that now on the internet, all that stuff on the internet, correct?
Yeah, I can do it from my phone.
Yeah,
Awesome.
right on your mobile device. So I love the conversation that we're having now. I want you to cover one more thing, because depending on an owner's perspective, and I know as a consultant, you're in front of owners, and there's a number of salons that you are coaching now that have brought you in and your people in to help take the front desk through that training process so that you can speed up the integration of that digital tool in a Summit salon. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's now part of the Summit front desk training system to those salons that have the digital tool, Tippy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a big piece is like, if you are a Summit salon that has Tippy in there, there's roadblocks that every front desk team runs into that you need to know how to pivot around on what to say and how to say it. And so that's one of the things I love is that with, our division and all the trainers, that they can pivot and know what to say and how to say it so that it doesn't feel weird. Like it needs to feel organic. And so that has been a key piece on how to do that is just proper scripting, proper training,
right.
And coaching and mentoring.
Yeah, I just had this gigantic aha blow up in my head as I was listening to you, that the anytime you're bringing in anything, it's seen as change. And that we see change in one of two ways. We'll either see it as a threat, an inconvenience, or we see it as an opportunity. When we see it as an opportunity, we embrace it. When we see it as a potential threat, we resist. And what you're saying is, with proper training and script and verbiage, front desk sees it as an opportunity, service providers see it as an opportunity, guests see it as an opportunity rather than a threat. I love that. And a salon owner, you and I were chatting before the program, the salon owners now are using the dashboard for something that I want you to just mention that I did not see until you pointed that out to me.
Yeah, so it's pretty simple, which is great, is you can just pull a report and the report tells you everything you need to know for when you're knowing how much individuals are making in gratuities, which is super simple.
Yeah. Well, and every now and then I will bump into a salon owner that isn't sure about it because they're concerned about what it's going to do to their side of the payroll tax and contribution. And it's like, well, there's something you're not seeing because nothing changes in a transaction. It's just rather than it's going through this account, it's going through a Tippy account, except that that service fee is no longer being picked up on your end. And I my hunch is that those salon owners that are awkward about it, they are either uninformed or misinformed. And if they get clear about that, it's like, okay, I get this. This really is an opportunity that I'll embrace rather than I'm going to run away from.
Well, and to your point, Michael, that was exactly it. Like you get into a place where you're misinformed and uninformed at the same time. And so that's where you have to really reach out to your Tippy team, which is what I did right away. I reached out to them. I was like, hey, here's my problems, my roadblocks that I'm having. I need help on a solution. Can you jump on a team call with me, with my entire front desk team, to coach and mentor them and ask the hard questions?
Right.
And that was in my opinion, like that was a game changer because I got to learn, but my team got to ask questions that they were like, had fears around.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was huge.
Oh, big. Well, my guest, not this Thursday, but next, is I've asked the one of the co-founders, David, to come in, and really I want to address him these frequently asked questions that and the whatever the answers are, whatever the answers that other people are giving, as I vet out the answers, they're at best uninformed, and more times than not, it's misinformed. And whatever decision you're going to make to do it or not do it, you want to make sure that you have all of the information.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and people are saying, well, Michael, how come? What do you got? Obsessive compulsive Tippy disorder, or like what? You get are you getting greased on this or anything? And I'm going, no, honest to God, I'm not. It's just I see this as an opportunity for the good of all and the harm of none, and so I love Summit Salons too much to not say at least do the due diligence, because I have yet to run into someone that had some issue with it, unless they had some underpinning. Like if you bring Tippy into a toxic culture, and I don't know that Tippy is going to work as well, but it's not because of Tippy. It's, you've got somebody on the outside of your tent urinating in, so we got to kind of clean that up a little bit,
Well, and hey, Michael, I think it comes down to, as a service provider, we have to take our future back, and we have to take the future of what is going to happen in our industry. And this is one tool that we have to help support us in that direction, right? Like I would have never thought about taking my gratuities and putting all of that into my Roth IRA and planning a financial future in that world. Like I was already doing it, but not to the extent that I am now.
I love it. Yeah, yeah. And that's one from a service provider standpoint. I've got this now as part of our wealth building, achieving a higher level of financial security. As you know, when there was a lot of casualties when COVID came in, a lot of service providers were very under prepared, if you will, and they had very little refuel in their reserve and had to walk through, unemployment delays and stuff. This really does bring more groundedness to that part of our life, as I think you're discovering.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I want to end the interview by just asking you a question that, there's a lot of people watching now. There's going to be way more watching the recording. It's going to live on the page. They're looking at you, listening to you, relating, identifying with you, but they're not at where you are. They're at where you were, and they're going, okay, do I continue the conversation or not? Is there anything that you might tell them now that you're on the other side that might help them to move forward rather than resist?
I think one of the biggest thing is change is the only thing constant. And if you don't evolve, it's a matter of if you will dissolve, right? And so I think that's the thing to keep going for, and start small. Like start off with just $10 or $20 or $30 and start to create what the potential could be, right? Because the truth is you have to evolve into this place.
Yeah.
And you're either, like you said, Michael, you're either going to be pushed into it or you're going to sit there and live there too long, right? And then people are going to pass you. So you got to start it. Don't be afraid. Reach out to people that can help you, that have been where you've been, so they can pull you with them.
I love it. So you said a lot there. I love the term. I don't know if you said it or I was hallucinating, but we will either evolve or we will dissolve. Yeah. Right? And that COVID is bringing new normals into us, from virtual consultations to virtual orientations to digital tools such as Tippy it goes on and on and on, to the degree that we can accept that. And part of that accepting is letting go of some things that worked real well but don't work well now. I call that unlearning, and embracing the new. Now, before saying goodbye to you, I know that part of your protocol is whenever you're consulting in a salon at front desk or whatever, you bring this consciousness in with you. And as you do an intake with a salon owner, this becomes your bucket list or your punch list to make sure that once you're done taking the salon on a ride, you leave and everybody says, thank you. We got issues handled here. I don't know that they would have gotten handled in the time that they got handled with you bringing in. Do you want to say anything about that before I say goodbye?
Yeah, I think it just comes down to is as we're doing intakes at the front desk division, we're finding out what you're using, why you're using it, how you're using it. That's a key role, because if that's being done incorrectly, you're going to feel the after effects of that. Or if it's being done correctly, you're going to feel the bonuses of having those things. So it's really important that as you bring on, let's say you brought on one of our trainers into your salon company, that they are very aware of even those things so that they can help you pivot and know what to say and how to say it to best support everybody in the company.
I love it. Well, I've had you on for about a half hour. I know that you got a lot going on with your day. I want to thank you very much, my friend. Well, why don't you put your contact links on my Facebook page where this post is, and I will do the same, so that if people want to direct message you or reach out to you through whatever means you have, they can do that. I hope that as a result of your presence here today, that it helps you to serve the community better.
Thank you.
All right, thanks again. Let's give it up one more time for my good friend Jules Molina. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
See ya. Give it up for her one more time, you guys. That was amazing what she brought to the table. I loved her language with the idea to evolve or dissolve. We're COVID, good, better, and different, has thrust us all into something. We're on almost on a daily basis. We see what we all have come to call new normals, and those new normals in one way, shape, or form involve digital. They involve virtual, moving from cash to digital money, moving from traditional appointment making, online appointment making, moving from just a traditional consultation to the pre-visit virtual consultation, so so that online appointments don't freak us out. Whole lot going on in our industry right now. Like you, we both probably have seen 10 years of unprecedented change. New normals come at us inside of what, March 15th to now, you do the math on that, it's about 6 months. So I'm really going to encourage you to, stay close to us in this conversation. As new normals evolve, we will bring them to you so that you can be the first to take them through the learning curve. That now this particular, this channel that we're on this morning, Michael Cole Summit, specifically Michael Cole Summit Facebook Live, has become our learning channel of what are the new normals. I want to understand them. I want to be the first to take them through the learning curve so that I can not only survive this unprecedented challenge called COVID, I want to thrive as a result of it. Sooner or later, when we get on the other end of it, I want to look back at it and say, I went through this. I didn't come out bitter. I came out better. So in some regards, this was a blessing in disguise. It took my game up. So if we got your attention this morning, there's a link on my Facebook page that'll get you directly into Tippy, and you may qualify to get a free Tippy kiosk in the first, I can't remember if it was 1 month, 2 months, whatever it was, to get this in place to make that happen for you. So great conversation. Thanks for hanging out with us this morning. I love you all, and be with us tomorrow night. We have a special guest for you from J. Henry Salon, which is, I think, if you walk into that salon, you almost look like you're walking into an Apple store. It's what we would call an eye summit, and my guest Jenna will be on. So I look forward to that. That's tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. So God bless. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.